Let's get more analysis now with Francesco Rizzuto in Liverpool. He's the Dean of the School of Law at Liverpool Hope University. Good to have you back with us, Professor. So according to this Swedish think tank, defence spending last year was at an all-time high, some $2.2 trillion. But with the war in Ukraine raging on, countries like the US and countries in Europe pledging more defence spending for Ukraine, do you expect that perhaps this year we might even see more defence spending?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. 2022 was just the beginning. 2023, I think we're going to see increases, because remember, what will start feeding into the levels of expenditure will be the fact that many NATO countries in Europe, as well as in Eastern Europe, so West and East, have committed to increasing their expenditure anyway. So there is no doubt that we are going to see an escalation in Europe, certainly, but elsewhere, as your previous speaker was saying, because frankly, trust has broken down, and states, certainly Russia, to name one, has basically used military power to try and solve a political problem.
Yes, and we know that China is emerging as perhaps a potential threat, particularly in the Taiwan Strait. That is a potential flashpoint right now, and it seems like countries like Australia and those in the region are gearing up for a potential conflict there. I mean, is the only way to protect themselves by bolstering their defences?
Unfortunately, it would seem that way. Look, China has been building its military capacity for the last 8 to 10 years. It's not new. Of course, it's now been called out. It was called out by Trump, and that is continuing with Biden. There is no doubt that trust has broken down in that area. Remember, it's not just Australia. We're also talking about Korea, South Korea, I beg your pardon, the little irritant that's called the North as well, but we're also talking about Japan. So military expenditure will undoubtedly increase in order to deal with the perceived expansionism, the muscled approach that China is using to project its power and territorial ambitions. China is undoubtedly a global military power, and that's what it wants to be. It's second only to the United States in terms of expenditure and far above Russia. So that's a real problem. That's going to continue. To draw on what your previous speaker was saying, during the Cold War, it was relatively easy. We had East and West, and then the clients underneath. Now we have a multipolar world with multi-conflicts. So we have a conflict in Europe, we have tensions. We mustn't forget the Middle East with Saudi Arabia. Is it the fifth highest level of expenditure in the world? So we have problems in the Middle East with Saudi Arabia, the Yemen. We have the problem in Europe that was mentioned. We have Taiwan in the Asia-Pacific region. And we must not forget, we also have a problem between China and India, because India is the other big player. If you like, it's one of the big five. Now, I don't want to be pessimistic about it, but it's extremely difficult in a multipolar world to have a system of collective security and a reining back of expenditure, especially in a context where it would seem that the thirst, the desire to use muscle to win what can't be won politically is unfortunately having free rein at the moment.
We may well see another record being set for 2023 then. Professor, we will have to leave it there, but thank you so much as always for joining us on the program.
Pleasure.